Hey everyone, it's Susan Peirce Thompson and welcome to the weekly vlog. I'm here for the first time. I've never done a vlog like this with my buddy, Pedram Shojai.
Hi.
Hi. And he's the CEO of well.org. If you've been there, he does some really cool stuff. He just put out a book called The Urban Monk, which is epic. I recommend it highly. And I want to hear, Pedram, about your book, first of all. Tell me about your book a little bit.
Some books are... a lot of people write books because they want to write books and get famous. I don't have time for any of that. I had to write this book because there's so much crap out there. People talking about, like, follow me, I'm the guru. My advice is, the right advice. Mm-hmm. Do as I say, not as I do. And it was one of these things where it's just like, holy crap, this entire industry of self-help has been distorted in a way that needs a correction because everyone is talking about, like, oh, you're going to do these things that are very ascetic in lineage, right? Like, oh, you're going to be a monk, you're going to meditate 8 hours a day, and you're going to get, enlightenment. And, like, who the hell's got time for that, right? Because we have lives and we have things to do. And so people feel guilty about not making it to yoga. People feel guilty about not, like, doing some self-care 20 minutes a night. And it's because we're householders. We have bills. We have lives. And so I was a monk for 4 years. I had the luxury of living that life. And then coming back trying to help normal people in normal lives, I realized I couldn't ask them to do what I did, right? But I'm still here to help them.
Wait, you were a monk for 4 years?
I was.
In where? Where did you live?
So I still know. So
I didn't know that about you.
You didn't know that about me? See?
I'm like,
hi, I'm Pedram.
I totally didn't know that about you.
So what happened was my abbot of my lineage was one of the few people that was able to escape during the Cultural Revolution in China, where they killed everyone in, like, monasteries. And so he came and was basically, like, given safe harbor in first Chinatown, San Francisco, and then he came down to LA. And so he, after, I don't know, about 10 years of being in the States, decided to open up and start teaching non-Chinese students the Qigong and all the Kung Fu and stuff that I learned in my lineage. And so after a while, then my master, who was his senior student, basically was like, hey, listen, we're taking this way more seriously now, and if you want to be part of the lineage, you're going to have to shave your head and be a monk and take an oath. And I didn't really think about it before I said yes. And it was the best thing I've done in my life, but it was a very different transformational piece because I was pre-med at UCLA.
You were pre-med at UCLA, and then you became a monk.
Became a Taoist monk, then I went off and became a doctor of Oriental medicine. Then I became a Taoist minister, a Taoist priest, a Taoist abbot. I mean, I've been down this rabbit hole my whole life ever since.
And so you wrote this book to explain to people how they can incorporate some aspects of health and spirituality into urban life and, like, real life, like lives that people live. And so, like, helping people, I'm sort of making up words for you, so correct me, steer me here, but helping people to incorporate what's needed for a well spiritual life in the context of real life.
That's it. So if you think about how we live our lives, it's like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out. I'm so frustrated. Everything sucks. I can't wait till Friday. And then this weekend, I'm going to, like, catch my breath. Or it's been such a rough year. We're going to go to Maui and I'm going to take a week drinking at the pool and everything's going to be okay. Right? And it's just this kind of delayed, kind of kicking the can down, saying someday in the future, I'm going to make things right.
Right.
Instead of just adjusting your burn rate to have a healthy life and a healthy lifestyle here, now.
Right.
And so, look, Friday comes with, like, the kids' soccer game on Saturday, and it comes with, like, the in-laws dropping in. And, none of it really actually brings balance unless you are very intentional about it. So the question is, how can we live our lives every day without adding stress, adding weight, and just falling apart, and do that in a way where it's not overwhelming? And, I still see my kids. My kids are my priority when I come home, right? Yeah. And so how do I live my life in accordance with someone who wants to have balance on all of these fronts? That was the book. And, the book's done great. It's a New York Times bestseller. I mean, it's
high five on that.
High five. Yep. And the thing is, there's a lot of people that hit that list because they cheat. And they buy their own books and they're like, oh, look at me, I'm a bestseller. I couldn't care less about that. The fact that it has been sharing and people have been recommending it to each other, that to me is a feather in my cap because it means I've helped people.
Yeah, totally. And so you've got an academy that spawned off of the book. So, and I'm curious about it because it sounds like a really good fit for me. So explain to me what's in your academy.
So I've been teaching this academy for 15 years. So, the book's been written in here. Yeah, it's preceded the book. The book's been in here kind of like getting when I came down from the hill, I spoke high and holy, right? I was that guy who was just like, I read all the scripture, I did all this work, art thou, do thou kind of crap. And you know what I mean? And I was coming from that place. My first book kind of sounded that way because that's the guy I was. I mean, I came down from the mountain. And when I came down from the mountain and just took a kind of a lot of reality to digest, right? And once I've digested that, it really changed my thinking. It just made me more pragmatic in how to help the world, right? And so I've been teaching this practice called the gong for a very long time. It's something that I started doing, which is you can't really develop a habit overnight. And so for what we did is we broke it into 100-day chunks and said, look, if I was to say, okay, what habits could I implement over the next 100 days that would then move the needle and make my life better? What would they be and why? Where am I bleeding? Where's the kind of low-hanging fruit? Yeah. And then how do I deploy that in my life in a way where I just have a discipline, like really kind of dedicated acts of self-love, if you will, every day for these 100 days. And in doing so, I look back and be like, wow, look, I totally did that. I got a win. I got a feather in my cap. I'm better. I lost the weight. I'm less stressed out. Now what else can I do? Because I think what's happening is that there's a metaphor that I use, which is a life garden, is if you only had enough water in a watering can for 5 plants, what would they be in your life, right? Yeah. And then most of us will pick those and then say, okay, great. And then the boys call up and say, hey, I'm in town, let's get a drink. Or something happens over here. And like all these things come in from the periphery. And before we can even think about it, we're like, yes, 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 yes. And by saying yes to something new, I've just said no to the things that I've committed to. Right. And so to hold
it's like
that
the story
line,
of my life.
Well, right. Yeah. So most of ours, we have terrible boundaries, right? And so for me, it's like, look, all your willpower is in that watering can. And you can make this thing happen. Every New Year's, you save up some willpower and then you waste it again, right? And so it's really not just intent or will, it's also attention or focus. So how do we line up our focus with our will so that we can actually manifest things in life sequentially? I could say I want to be an astronaut. It's going to take more than 100 days. So I say, okay, well, maybe I should get really fit. Maybe I should learn how to fly, right? Great. So I'll do a couple of those things in the next 100 days and move myself there instead of saying, next week I'm going to build the Eiffel Tower. Watch. Right? And then I fail. I feel like a loser. Everyone goes, well, Pedram can't do anything right. Right. And then I keep creating a narrative that I say things that I don't actually complete. And I am now growing more and more accustomed to losing and failing, and that becomes okay. Yeah. Right? And that's not okay. So how do we rewire that? How do we flip that? That's what I've been doing for 15 years for thousands of students. So this book is really just kind of like the cherry on top of being like, okay, here's the kind of gestalt, but if you really want to do the work will change your life. Yeah. Right?
So that's the course that you've got. Yep. And the name of the course is?
The Urban Monk Academy.
The Urban Monk Academy. And I want to do it. So It sounds awesome. So it's going to have me like carve out 100-day chunks and commit to actions that I can take during a finite period of time and to help me focus on just the most important things that I've committed to. That's it. That's what it's going to help me do.
Yeah. And so like I have a daily gong and I'm like, I have a 6-month-old baby. And so my last gong ended and I only had 4 items on my gong because I knew better. It's like, you're not sleeping. Right. Right?
Right.
You're not sleeping.
Right.
Now I have an 8-item gong, which is 2 qigongs, a meditation, my prayer mala. I have a certain workout set I do, plus a separate workout, I stretch, and then what was the last one I said? There's 8 of them. Oh, I read 30 pages a day. If I don't do that, I fail, I start over. Now, my students start with 1. They're like, listen, I'm going to stretch 10 minutes a day. Great. Start with that. If you miss a day, you start over. So it's really about...
What do you mean you start over? If you miss a day, you start over?
If I'm on day 26...
counting on day
I'm
one.
on day 46. I miss a day, I start over. Okay. Right? And I've started...
keep going until you get up to 100 days.
Once you hit 100, you've completed your first gong. And what it does is it reminds you to remember.
Right.
Right?
And this is what we do in Bright Line Eating. We write down our food the night before, and the next day we eat only and exactly that. And when we do that, we're on day 1. Right? And we just finish day 1, and then we do that for the next day. And we just add up days of building integrity with food. That's exactly what we do in Bright Line Eating. It's just, getting clear on what we're going to eat, what we're not going to eat. We write it down, and then the next day that's what we eat. And we count days. It's like high five. It's like the same thing.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, look, we're both educated people. Like, this is what works. This is behavior 101, right?
Right. Behavior change 101.
Yeah, behavior change 101. And so you're doing it in eating. And by the way, I've sent hundreds of my students over, and they love the Bright Line program. I get the number one feedback of anything I've ever like recommended outside of our universe is your stuff, by the way. And so for me, now we're talking about all lifestyle, right? So like, how do you take this methodology to your sleep, to your relationship, to your stress levels, to your exercise, all these other things, and apply the same type of filter so that when things come in from the outside, you're just much more likely to be like, wait, no, I can't say yes to that because I said yes to my family, and this would take away from that.
That's right, because I've got what I'm focused on.
That's
They're super clear on what I'm focused on. So if anyone out there wants to do the Urban Monk Academy with me, how would they sign up, or how does that work? I think we're gonna put a link right down. Yep. I'm picturing this on my vlog page. We're gonna put a link right down below. Yeah. How much does it cost?
It is so. This is the best part about it is, over the years, it's gone up and down, $300, $600, $1,000, What I decided after the launch of this book is, okay, what am I really in this for? Is to help people, right? So basically, we're almost like at cost. It's $97 for
$97. That's it
for lifetime.
For lifetime access.
Lifetime, and I'm on a weekly call every week, and I'm just it's
$97 for lifetime access.
Yeah,
that's crazy, dude.
Well, it's because look, now I have thousands and thousands of people whose lives have changed and are making the world a better place.
Yeah,
and like. That's what I got into this for. I was a doctor. You know what I mean? Like, I made plenty of money. That it's about how can you help the most people and make the impact. And yeah, it's like you want to go up the rabbit hole and learn more and do all sorts of stuff. That's fine, but like you got to get your life together first.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? Is you start getting wins under your belt.
Yeah.
And as you do that, every single day you become a stronger you. And like this result is this kind of like if energy were cash, you get cash in your pocket that you can now reinvest in other places in your life, right? So people come home, they're like, I'm tired, I'm cranky, I'm moody, I see the sofa, I just want to fall on it. Well, that's a deficit in energy. So how do we get net positive in energy? Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about woo-woo energy, I'm talking about like energy in your life, like to be able to actually be there for your kids and love your spouse and read the book you need to read for your career and all the things that like keep us stuck. Well, that's what we unhinge so that then we could hit our goals.
Right. Awesome.
It's fun.
I love it. I can't wait to check it out.
I can't wait to have you in there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. Yep. It is. So if you want to join me, check out the link down below. It's like a $400, $500, $600, $1,000 course that he's giving away for $97, which is ridiculous, including weekly coaching calls with you.
So long as I'm in town, I'm on the calls.
That's amazing. So check it out. It's the Urban Monk Academy, and this is my buddy Pedram Shojai from well.org. Go check out well.org. That's his site if you want more of Pedram. And you've got a podcast too, right?
I got two podcasts. I got the Urban Monk and the Health Bridge.
Dude's busy. Health Bridge.
Busy.
Urban Monk.
Health Bridge, Urban Monk. First movie was called Vitality. Second movie was called Origins. Next movie we're filming now called Prosperity, and we're busy.
Vitality, Origins, and Prosperity.
Yeah. And awesome. People ask me how I get so much done. This is what I'm sharing with you. This is how I get so much done.
There you go. You want to know how to be like wickedly productive? Like that's what you got to do. You got to
and relaxed.
Focus.
And relax. I know wickedly productive people that have heart attacks.
Yeah,
I'm pretty chill.
You seem like totally relaxed. You do not come across as like type A personality. You're like showing up in flip flops, hanging out.
Yep.
I love you, dude. It's awesome. Awesome. All right. Hugs and high fives.
High five.
All right, and that was the weekly vlog. If you have something you want me to cover on the weekly vlog, if you want more of Pedram, let me know. Next time we're around, we're in Arizona right now. Beautiful
place.
Yeah, we're at a beautiful resort in Arizona. We just went to the Consumer Health Summit, which was lovely. But if there's something you want me to cover, a question you want me to answer on the weekly vlog, just send it in. I'm at Susan@brightlineeating.com. Thanks for joining me and my buddy Pedram, and we'll see you later.
See you. Thank you.
Bye.